Welcome in, everyone. It is time as we get ready to begin Season 3 of the Vision Corsa IndyCar Racing Series. Hopefully for everything, we get things settled in nice and smooth. Maybe having some trouble, though, so we hope that will not stay that way. In the meantime, let's have a look at what we've got on the docket for this Vision Corsa IndyCar Racing Series presented by the PRA. All drivers will be driving the Dallara IR18, the IndyCar of choice. They'll be driving on a 50-50 mix of road courses and ovals for the regular season. There will be 13 races. We will get to the odd number in a moment. Drivers will be fighting for a total of a $375 prize pool. The first place driver in the end of the season will win $130. $75 will go to second place, $40 to third, $20 for fourth, $10 for fifth. You'll also have a $50 prize up for grabs for the most points scored in an oval races, and you'll get 50 points for the Daytona race, a winner take all. As we continue on, this is a Tuesday night series, Tuesday Night Thunder Vision Corsa IndyCar Series. It'll be on realistic weather settings, and so it will not be a fixed condition. There may be rain, and it may rain hard. All drivers will be under a 75% fuel capacity to ensure that all drivers will need to make at least one pit stop during this race. All tire compounds will be available for use, whether primaries, alts, or wets. At the moment, the dry settings are set for three sets of tires. It may change depending on how wet the conditions are. All drivers will have one fast repair to use, so if they end up in a bad collision, it will hopefully not be the end of the world for them right away. Just looking to make sure everything is up and running well. Looks like we're doing okay, which is good. Oval races will have one green-white checkered, as in if there is a caution flag close to the end of the race, and the caution laps would dig into the checker flag. It will become a green. Whoa! We're in the practice session at the moment, and there's a little bit of traffic that's starting to build up right now, and we will get to it in a moment. The lucky dog and wave around rules will be active, which for our first race of the day is going to be a little tough to make do, but they will make do. For the start, it'll be on the iRacing green, and for restarts, the lead car will decide when we kick things off once the pace car is off the track. They can choose to leave right away or rip it about 10 seconds later if they wanted. There is a crash on the board. Let's go into the point system. The top 10 qualifying drivers will earn points, 10, 9, 8, so on and so forth. And then in the race, you get 45 points for the win, 40 for second, and you'll drop a point per position from there. There are bonus points on the table. You get one. Okay, we had a problem there for a moment. That problem is ongoing. That is not a good sign. We'll get to that in a moment, but there is an issue that's going to need to be resolved, and hopefully that gets resolved quickly. We definitely got issues, but in the meantime, let's keep going over the series, and hopefully we can get that sorted very, very soon, because this is becoming a problem. That needs to be shut down somehow. There we go. Okay, that should do it. You get one bonus point for leading a lap. You get one bonus point for leading the most laps in the race, and you get 1 point for the fastest lap during the race itself, not during qualifying. And then you'll also get 5 points for leading at the halfway point of oval races. So if it's 50 laps, at the end of lap 25, the leader gets an extra 5 points. If it's 60, 30 laps is the cutoff point. And the last point provisional system will be active for this series as well. Another thing to note is that 4 events will be featuring the double point system. Races 2, 6, 8, and 12. We will get to those in a moment. And there will be severe caution violations that could result in the last point provisionals being assigned to you. Now, as we try to get something squared away, something has gone very wrong on the technical end, and we're looking to get this resolved right now. There was a crash that occurred, and I need to make sure that doesn't happen again, because that's not a good thing to see. In the meantime, We now talk about cautions because we brought up cautions for a moment. The oval races will be using the iRacing caution system, which can be quite brutal, but also oval crashes tend to take out plenty of drivers, and so that is likely why. And then for road courses, it'll be the PRA caution system, where the PRA will always have discretion to throw out cautions if they see fit. But the PRA caution system, a multi-car crash will result in a caution flag. If two drivers collide and they end up spun out, damaged, in the wall, something along those lines, a caution flag comes out. A single car spin out or a crash is not going to result in a caution flag. The race will keep going until a second car gets involved in that same incident. If two drivers are on opposite ends of the track and they both spin or crash, no caution flag. The caution laps will count except for the All-Star race, which we will get to. That is our 13th event. And as we are loaded in, let us hope, okay, a little bit of hitching. Looks like other than that, we are good. We got a couple teams. Oh, I think we have teammates in the board. Ah, there we go. Things are loading in. Okay. It is teammates. Nice. There are violations to yield under caution. If you fail to yield under a caution, you'll get black flagged for 1 lap. And ending another racer's race under a caution will lead to you being parked and given last point provisional points. You'll be taken out of the race. Our schedule for today, and where we can bring up that double points, here we are. Long Beach is our first race. We go to Kansas, our first double pointer. Road America will be race number 3. Homestead, Miami, our race 4. The Indy Road Course will be race 5. Indy Oval, our second double point race, will be race 6. And then we'll have the All-Star race on October 14th. It's over at Daytona. It's 50 laps for $50. Race 7 will be over in Portland for 30. Milwaukee will host our third double point event with 60 laps. Watkins Glen will be the host of race 9 on November 4th for 25 laps. We can love ourselves a Watkins Glen around here. Iowa will be the home of race 10. Laguna Seca for 30 laps at race 11. And then after Thanksgiving, we head to December 2nd, where Michigan will be the home of the final double point race. And for today, as we mentioned, we are headed to Long Beach in the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series. Now, before we begin, I'd like to go over what this track is like. But first, let's have a look at how things are rolling in the track itself. Let's get everything up and running. Welcome! We are in the practice session at the moment. About 14 minutes until the end of that. A couple caution flags have come out in this session at the current moment. And there is a lot to go through. And so, instead of having the view like this, let's have a look at some onboard footage of what you can expect out of Long Beach. Aiden Hill, one of our drivers for today, brought us this footage, thanks to HSW as well. You start with this massive long straightaway. It curves a little bit to the right, and what you'll notice is you have pit exit right on your right side. As you come towards the end of the straightaway, you'll have a yellow double line that appears. If you cross that double yellow line right here, you get a caution, you get a track cut penalty. And so as you go through it, you have to be careful not to hit that. You'll then go to the fountain where you have the long right-hander. It's a lot of 90-degree turns from here on out, and it's a narrow road for these first couple turns. You may be able to go too wide, but it's not going to be ideal. The road will then widen up. You have another long straightaway, but you got to get to that right side because your next turn's coming up right here, another long 90-degree to the left. It opens up yet again. You have room to go over to the left side, crash into the right. Watch this barricade here. Plenty of drivers may be taken out by that barricade. As you keep going down here, keep an eye on the boards to your left. When you pass here, the 350 mark will be about where you want to turn over to the right. You've got a little bit of an opening under the Firestone Bridge, a long left-hander that goes for 2 turns down to first gear as you go into the hairpin, and that wraps up the Long Beach lap. For Aiden Hill here, this took about 1:08. These times are fast, and these drivers are going to have to be fast as well. As we will have a look at a couple other things. We've got a ping going on here. And, oh, perfect. We've got something else set up. As well, we'll get to hear from one of the drivers in today's series, which is always nice to have. You like to have these extra voices that go on. So joining us here is the number 29 car of Rodney Roberts. Give us your take on Long Beach as an opening track. It looks pretty brutal from my eyes. What are you seeing?
Very tight track. I haven't had much practice due to work and stuff, so I'm just going to try to stay out of some of these guys' way and try to finish. Very, very tight. We got a lot of drivers this season. Different skill gaps. Just everybody needs to be mindful of their surroundings, and I think we're going to put on a good show tonight.
I sure hope so. We've got over 30 drivers registered for Season 3 of the IndyCar Series. We've also been seeing some of these drivers, like the champion of Season 2, is worried that he's going to be a little bit slow compared to the field. So do you think it's safe to say the skill level of the IndyCar Series may have jumped up quite a bit since Season 2?
I would agree with that, yes. We definitely had an influx of some drivers, especially from Grid Finder, and a lot of guys Grid Finder got us noticed by a lot of these guys that came in. We really appreciate it all. Let me hop out of this. I have to answer a couple questions.
Okay, you're very welcome to go do that. I will keep on doing my own thing. You take care of that, and I will see you on the track. Good luck, Rodney.
Thank you.
That's Rodney Roberts there, one of the longtime admins of the Prodigy Racing Association. Hopefully we can get this hitching issue sorted, because this is not looking good at the moment. But right now we are pretty stable. And at that, you're seeing some of the names on your left, but I think it's time for a more formal introduction. Meet Season 3's drivers for the IndyCar Series. The Vision Corsa IndyCar Racing Series is set to begin soon, and it's time to meet our drivers for Season 3. Driving the number 2 car is Daniel Borgert-Pepe. In at the number 4 car is Richard Murray. Vitor Guilherme will join the PRA at the number 5 car. Landon Lacey will hop in with the number 6. Nathan Melnichuk returns to PRA action driving the number 7. Cody Linscott is in the IndyCar Series as the number 8. Joe Nerton will hop on in the number 10 car. Austin LeBlanc goes down to double digits for his car number, driving the number 11. Marlo Duncan hops in the IndyCar Series in the number 12. Andrew Clark will hop in as well as the number 13. Jimmy Salo's first experience with the PRA will be the number 14 car in the IndyCar Series. Aaron Fontaine joins for yet another PRA Series, driving the number 18. Mitchell Hamilton hops on in the number 21. The number 025 will be driven by George Griffith, while the number 25 is driven by Adam Miller. Kyle Deckard takes the number 26 car. The number 27 car will be driven by Aiden Hill. Rodney Roberts joins the series at the number 29. Javier Lopez joins us from the GT3 series as the number 36 car. The champion of Season 2 of the IndyCar Series, Alex Jones, drives the number 45, leaving the number 1 behind. Parker Dime joins the series and drives the number 57. The number 58 is piloted by Morgan Smith. Fozzie Fazillo joins the PRA IndyCar Series as the number 61. Byron Bailey hops in the number 64. Matthias Marcumini will hop on in the number 77. The number 81 car will be driven by Jacob Schneider. Joey Kuba joins the series piloting the number 93. The triple-digit cars begin with Spencer Torrance in the 120. Austin Diltz drives the number 144. The number 327 will be driven by Brandon Farley. And joining us yet again for the IndyCar Series, driving the 384, is Brad Morath. And with that, we are about ready to roll. We've got about 8 more minutes of practice to go, so we'll hopefully get to see plenty of our drivers for today. It looks like we may be missing Alex Jones for today, which is a bit unfortunate. At least one of their issues got solved, but they are seeming to have another. And as well as that, we should mention that we do have a couple drivers who will be out for today. Vitor Guilherme will not be joining us. Aaron Fontaine also confirmed to be out for today's race. So hopefully we'll get to see some of them in action soon. Of course, sometimes this does in fact happen. You don't want it to happen, but sometimes it just does. And with that, I think it's about time we head onto the track and have a look at how this practice session is going. So let's have a look. Right now we are looking at George Griffiths at the moment, as he's out on the track. Right now holds the top time in the practice session with a tenths advantage over Spencer Torrance, and I'd like to see exactly what that lap time is. We'll get that up and running for you, so you get to see as well. It would be the fastest lap time. Here we go. Spencer Torrance with a 1:07.792. Just under 2/10 faster than the second driver, also in the 1:07s, a 9:58. Another thing to note, if we could get a look around drivers that pass by here, this is where all the drivers are pitting. You can see all the cars lined up. As you go through, I want to get to this last corner because there's something to note as well. There is a rule in place, a black flag forgiveness rule for damaged cars that need to limp through. So we'll watch on with Joe Nerton for a bit as we wait to get to that point in the track. And as we come along here, instead of taking this hairpin around, you can take by the cones there, actually. You'll be allowed to cut through there to take a quick route to pit lane so you can just get out of driver's way and not cause a problem. We are definitely having issues that I need to sort out later. Unfortunately, I do not have the resources to do so. It's showing no drop frames, but it is showing overload, which is a massive problem. Okay. Not good. Not good to say the least. Oh, that's an unfortunate spin. And unfortunately, it's very possible we see a lot of those because this track is brutal. And IndyCar itself, very brutal. And Alex Jones is confirmed out for today's race, which is really unfortunate to see. Wanted to say, oh, that's a crash in the background. That's Hamilton. Don't want to see that. So you got 5 minutes left until the end of practice, and I believe at this point the drivers will be parked to allow for a drivers' meeting before the beginning of the qualifying session. We will not be listening into the drivers' meeting. That is not our play. Oh my God! That was him barreling into pit lane so he could make the drivers' meeting. It may have sped in pit lane, which would be kind of funny. There's the line of cars. Look at all the beautiful liveries we've got. As well as that, some of these liveries will be featuring the Vision Corsa logo on their car. And as well as that, you should see some PRA logos on the cars as well. And hopefully those come through nicely. This is probably... Okay, right now these guys are... Well, it looks like we're okay for now. It helps that there's no motion on the track. Yeah, it's the swap. When I swap to iRacing specifically. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. That is really not good. Okay. Wait for it. It's going to overload. No, we may have actually solved it. Okay. And that is good. In the meantime, though, we wait and see. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, of course, no times are going to be up just yet. We don't have qualifying done. We've got a few things that we have to do. Of course, the drivers' meeting is currently taking place. And hopefully this will be resolved. Like, this is not good, to say the least. We've got a lot of... What's exactly happening here? Like, what's sucking up the resources? I'm not sure on that one at the moment. And unfortunately, I won't have the time to really address it. We will just have to roll at the moment with what we have. Let's get a nice look at all these liveries. Let's see. I believe it would be rear chase will be our best bet to get a good front. Oh, that's not. You're not in pit lane. This is one. The number 12 car. We did have a look at Duncan's livery at some point in the chat as well. You're not in pit lane. You are. The Vision Corsa logo right on the front of the car is what you love to see. My goodness. Excuse me. Wasn't ready for that one. This is Jacob Schneider we're having a look at here. Had the second best time in practice. We can knock those out. The pit time is going to be through the roof because it's what you expect. And we will take that out as well. Time in pit lane can go. We will not need these at the moment. This will be enough information for the time being. About 50 seconds before qualifying session begins. Let me see if I can find something. Oh, there it is. Need to open something up real quick. No, do not do that. Actually, yeah, do that. So, about 1 more minute before we get started with qualifying. As a reminder here, the qualifying will go to about 9:10. 2 minutes later, the race will begin. Our first race for this series in Season 3 will be Long Beach. We've got 25 laps to go here at Long Beach, and hopefully it'll be a fun ride. In the meantime, okay, the checkered flag has waved on the track, and the session is resetting. And so we're going to get a look at one of our new drivers, I believe. Where I want to look. Let's see what do we got. Our first driver to hit the track. I hear one on the track right now. Who would that be? One. I don't know why it's flipping back and forth like this. George Griffiths is on the track. Let's have a watch. This is the pit exit. As we mentioned, when you're on the track, that yellow line, you cannot cross it. And he waits right until the blue line before he takes his turn and makes his way to the fountain. This fountain will be a hairpin. Take it nice and easy here on the outlap. No need to push the car just yet. You've got time. You've got laps. That may be a little bit too much on the inside. That'll be important to note as well because it could very much screw you. So we'll get fastest lap time in here as well, as that will be important. As a matter of fact, we'll actually take out last lap time because it's qualifying. Down here on the straightaway, not much room to work with, but you can. Now you can squeeze quite a few cars in here, actually. Go through this right-hander, make your way towards the Firestone Bridge. Long left-hander. Into the right-hand hairpin. He goes way wide, trying to build up as much speed as possible as the first lap of qualifying for George Griffiths begins. Griffiths, our fastest driver in practice. Let's see if he can maintain this speed as we begin lap number 1 of qualifying for him. Careful with that yellow line right on the edge of it as he goes through his left-hander. Past the fountain, dives into the inside as you must, and barely avoids that wall. Now into the first 90-degree right-hander, right in that red line, and goes across yet again. Looks like he is safe from track cuts. And he'll cross over to the right side. Has a little bit of room to work with all the way to the red line. Dives in towards the curb. Nicely done. Now you've got a wide road, and you can swing all the way out here past this 90-degree. He's very clear of that wall. It is a very likely wall for accidents and incidents. You see it often in the IndyCar system. Over to the Firestone Bridge. hard on the inside as he goes through the double left-hander. And here's that right-hand hairpin. It looks like a solid lap for Griffith so far. We'll see where it ranks on the board and just how fast he was. And he does have pole position at the moment, a 107.802. Very consistent, very close to his fastest lap in practice as well. As other times hop in, Javier Lopez with a 108.35, Schneider 107.86, Marlo Duncan 109.74. We do have Alex Jones on the board, a 111.9, so he will be joining us for today. But he was noting many issues with his setup, and we hope those do not come back to bite him in the back end. As a reminder, the top 10 drivers will score points for qualifying, 10, 9, 8, so on and so forth. While we're in qualifying, we want to give our many thanks to Sim Racer Hub and Grid Finder. As told by Rodney Roberts earlier today, they were quite helpful in getting the reach of the PRA out to other drivers. And the influx of talent has been a very welcome change for the Prodigy Racing Association. Plenty of talent on the board before, but even more is even better. Looks like that is a new fastest lap. And it looks like Griffiths has quite a bit of distance to work with. A 107.86 from Schneider, yet to be beaten, as we do have a crash on the board. It's Mark Humini who has the yellow flag brought out. We're going to go to a couple other drivers. Let's go to Duncan at the moment. Currently holds on to 7th. Past the fountain. 109.051 is best. His final lap here in qualifying. Over 30 drivers registered for the IndyCar Series Season 3. Unfortunately, the session does not have that many drivers out on the track. There are a couple drivers who are not on the track at the moment. Aiden Hill, Morgan Smith, Mitchell Hamilton, Spencer Torrance, and Fozzie Fazzillo have yet to record a time in qualifying, and we have 15 on the board at the moment who have qualified for now. Fazzillo is out on the track trying to score a time, but seems to be having trouble with it. As Duncan will cross the line for the final time. And the final time for him will move the dial. He jumps up to 6th position. Marlo Duncan with a 108.74. And we do have a couple drivers who are out on the track. That is Fazzillo, as we saw for a moment. He's giving it his best, and that is a lot. So far, that really is all you can ask for. At the moment, it looks like Griffiths is in a very clear position. We'll have a look at Jacob Snyder, because he's got a flag next to him. He is not on the track. Okay, we will stay with Hamilton at the moment. So it looks like it's Griffiths who will be at pole position, but that, oh my goodness, watch out. Gotta be careful there. Let's get all this set up. So Hamilton does record a time, is 17th on the board at the moment, and yeah, we can see these drivers will not be hitting the track. We'll stay here so we can get everything noted down. Oh, that's not where it's... Oh, I see, okay. So that needs to get closed down. We have a couple things going on at the moment. New idea. Let's try this one. Let's go here. Here. We got a couple things that need to get changed around. Hopefully this doesn't overload things again. It looks like we are okay on that front. Yes, we are. Okay, perfect. So let's get everything correct. This will take a moment, so please do excuse me for this. Oh, good. The driver is moving. Good. It looks like the dial has not changed, so I do believe this will be our final set. In the meantime, enjoy Mark Camini on the track. Oh. Not good. Not ideal. Get this all sorted. Perfect. And now we can get a look at our qualifying times. I do not see anything changing. Your qualifying points, drivers. George Griffiths picks up pole position with Spencer Torrance in at second on the grid. Jacob Schneider will take third. Matthias Marcamini in at P4. Javier Lopez P5. Marlo Duncan P6. Austin Diltz at P7. Dime, Hill, and Miller round out our top 10. These are your drivers that'll pick up qualifying points for this race. George Griffiths will be at pole position. He gets the full 10. And with that, we will go right on back as we get ourselves ready for the first race of the season. We've got 15 seconds until the session swap. And then the gridding process will begin. So once again, we'll just go through. The margin on that as well. 107.638, the fastest lap on the board. 107.656 from Torrance. Very nearly takes the spot away, but Griffiths will get pole position. And Torrance will have to settle for second. Again, it's Schneider in at third. Marcumini at fourth. Javier Lopez at fifth. Duncan, Diltz, Dime, Hill, Miller will round out your top 10. And now we get to wait and see when these drivers will hit the track. As for now, let's enjoy the sights of Long Beach. The gridding process, you can see the timer in the top left. They have a minute 20 before the gridding process ends. We've got the Shelby pace car for today. Good to see you. A lot of drivers on the grid. Let's have a look. How many do we have? That is 21 drivers at the current moment. Fozzie Pazzillo in at 20th at the moment. The last driver to qualify will be Brandon Farley in the 327. We got Rodney on the track, and we'll have to wait a little bit. We'll wait until the pace lap starts to get a word with him. Make sure. It looks like everything is settled down on my end, at least, which is good. Very good, even. And the pace car is off. The pace lap has begun.
Whatever, quick thing, guys.
Apologies there. Looks like we'll need to wait for that to sort itself out. They're going to go through a discussion. So we'll actually catch up with Rodney a little bit later into the race. Didn't want to barge in during his discussion. And so now we will await Season 3 of the IndyCar Series for the Prodigy Racing Association. We've had a lot of changes around the board. We're going to make sure everything gets thrown on here as well. Get those on. Perfect. The board is set. The drivers going around the track. There is some blinking going on on the track. That'll be something to keep in mind. There have been some drivers worried about connection issues, and we're very close to getting this race started. The pace car hooks the right. The drivers must wait for iRacing green. Griffiths at pole position leads the pack. And the green flag is waved, and off we go. 25 laps at Long Beach has begun. It'll be Griffiths all the way in the front. He's got Torrance close behind. It is too wide at the moment as we get ready to approach turn number 1. Griffiths was a big advantage as he jumps to the front of the pack, and a good move on the inside from Schneider. They'll go side by side as we'll have a look a little bit further back to make sure everything is nice and tidy. Too wide, nearly coming together are Schneider and Torrance, but they hold on very well. A little bit of bumping back and forth, and might be a collision in the back of the field as Dye makes it through A-OK. We've got some blinks. We've got some crashes on the board. In the meantime, though, all these drivers coming through. 21 on the grid, and it looks like we're off to a decent start at the moment. Dime gets a move on the inside and will get by as Aiden Hill has a lot of trouble. Goes way too wide around the corner. And a bump into the front. That's tire is flat. As Adam Miller may have hit the wall on the outside. We talked about that wall a ton. That wall is going to cause problems for some drivers, but in the meantime, it looks like Miller may be okay and perhaps will not need to worry about the damage just yet, which would be good to see as we do have drivers that are having trouble. It is Aiden Hill who is heading to pit lane. And it looks like he took the cut for damaged vehicle. That'll have to be spoken to later on. In the meantime, as things settle in, here's Mark Humini, currently holding 6th position. We've got a crash on the board. It is Diltz, who is head first into the wall. What has happened there? Alex Jones as well has had a crash. We have a lot going on at the moment, but so far the PRA has ruled there will not be any caution flags flying just yet. And yeah, the blinks are starting to come through, and Griffiths, in the meantime, is clear of the traffic. Schneider 3 seconds back. So let's start going through these. We'll start with Brandon Farley. Towards the back of the pack. This is approaching the fountain. We had a big pile up here, and he got bumped in the back. And so exactly what happened here. Let's go a little bit further up. Let's go to Byron Bailey. Oh, here we go. This is a good view, actually. In the fountain, a bunch of drivers come together, and it's very slow around here, but they seem to get by just fine. So we had another one on the board. This is Brad Marath as the driver had gone off the track past turn 1. And a big pile up yet again. But again, the drivers are doing okay. And it looks like there may be connection issues on Marath's end as well, which could be a problem. As we are back to live, Aiden Hill. There's Alex Jones, who seems to be having trouble. We've got a lot of crashes to look at. Let's go to the most recent one that just hit the board. This is Alex Jones, and he is crab walking his way to pit lane, so we'll figure out what happened there later. In the meantime, this is Morgan Smith in the 18 car rather, that we're having a look at. Oh, and it ends up as a spin. But thankfully holds on to it without much issue. We'll move on now to Alec. Oh, that car's looking bad. So we had a really bad incident earlier that led to this. So what happened here? Well, the front end is already damaged after an incident. It's missing half of the wing, and he can't turn to the left, and that front right gets crunched. That makes sense now that he's crab walking. Mitchell Hamilton, number 21 car on the board. And he goes in way too deep and head first and ends up with another car into his body as well, as Javier Lopez is not facing the right way. Now I must watch the rejoin. This is past turn 1. There's a lot going on right now this race, and not a lot of good for some of these drivers. A lot of crashes are starting to be reported. We have not gotten through half of them, by the way. Folks, this is going to be a long, long day for some of these drivers as a piece of wing has been found on the track, and it belongs to the 25 car. It lets Lopez go. And now Roberts has gotten involved in an incident. A lot is going wrong so far this race. And it's Mark Tumini who's having the connection troubles. trying to keep up with him here as he looks to make a move on Duncan, but he has to be careful with that move. That could lead to a serious problem. Let's keep going through our crash report. We looked at the Brad Morath crash. This is the aftermath of it, as he's trying to limp his way back, and he can't. He just has to take the tow. Alex Jones as well. But this is before he reached pit lane in the same incident. So Byron Bailey heading out of pit lane here got registered for a crash. What happened here? Oh, okay. Sometimes it'll show as a crash when all he does is slow to a stop. It's not a crash, obviously. And it ends up as a spin out, and it crunches his front end, and that does a lot of damage to your car. We looked at Lopez earlier. We'll get to see a better look of the incident here. Looks like a lockup that just as his car refuses to turn. And now Alex Jones heading out of pit lane as well had an incident reported. Very, very slow, waiting for other traffic to go by. That's why it reported it. Now Rodney Roberts here. What a beautiful livery. But half of his wing gun is going to lead to a lot of trouble here around turn 1. And there you go. Crashes in front right first, and now the wing is completely gone, and it looks like that front right ended up flat. And now he'll have to try and limp his car home. Mitchell Hamilton registered, and I think we heard the aftermath of it here. What happened? It sounded like a spin, and that it was. Back first into the wall, and I believe he towed immediately. That he did. On to Morgan Smith. Around the hairpin. And he spins again. Maybe too much throttle on exit. But thankfully avoids much damage with the wall. As you go here to Adam Miller. And he goes for the damaged pit lane entrance. Well, let's get back to live here. Lap 6 about to be completed for George Griffiths in the number 025. As some traffic getting out of Griffiths' way. That is Morath who is letting him by. 8.8 second lead on Jacob Schneider, who himself holds a 2-second lead to Duncan and the battle for third. It's Diltz and Jones who are doing battle here for the 15th position, and Diltz wins out in the end for that one. So Diltz will hold on to 15th. Let's go on up to this battle for third. Mark Amini, currently the main catalyst for this battle. We're going to have a look a little bit further down the list. We want to see if there's anyone in pit lane at the moment. So we'll look back with Diltz. We have 2 DNFs that are reported, and Rodney Roberts is on his outlap, so he just got his fast repair done. As we'll look at Fozzie Fuzzillo here at the 9th position at the moment. He was having a lot of trouble in qualifying. As I believe it may actually be wise not to speak with Roberts at the moment, as there's been a lot of trouble with his car. Up here in third place, about 2 seconds back, is Duncan. 2 seconds back of Schneider, that is. Griffiths steering clear of everybody. 10-second gap to the back to second place. As the 25 car will let him by. And it registers as an incident. And we will see that quite a bit. And this is the part of the race where the gaps start to form. And everything is very much settled down. Right now, the closest gaps are the battle for third, where Marcumini and Parker. Oh, hold on. We've got a bit. It's gotten interesting here, as it looks like Duncan may have had some trouble. That front end is damaged. And it's going to allow for Marcumini to get by, and it may be another one. You can see right on that front end, there's a bit of damage that happened to it. It didn't report on my end, but that is clear as day. That front end cannot hang, and he may take the pit lane exit. No, he's staying on the track. But Marlo Duncan, with front end damage, will head into pit lane and take the repair. And just like that, Marcumini jumps to third position. And another crash is reported, this time on Roberts. The rear wing is off. So there's an earlier crash that has led to this moment. Oh my. Very dangerous spot. And he takes the tow. A lot of crashes being reported, but very, very few have involved multiple cars. And if they have, it's been resolved quite easily. We have another one on the board. This is Joe Nerton. Ooh, that is a very sad-looking car. And he has crashed into the wall. And he's taking the tow. What happened here? So we're going down the big straightaway here. This is turn one we're heading into. Goes in too hard. Car won't turn. Front right, crunched. And as we saw, it leads to him hitting the wall and taking the tow. We've got Duncan here on an incident, which I believe is going to be him slowing down to allow for traffic to go by. That is exactly what happened here. So Duncan back on the track, currently holding in 12th position. Let's focus on Aiden Hill for the moment. We saw his onboard earlier having a look at the track, looking to make a move on Farley. Already the gap down to 1/10 of a second. Looks to the outside here for a move. It's not quite there just yet. And bumps into the back end of the car. And his front wing has been damaged because of it. Aiden Hill got a little bit too nosy. And he will be let by Farley. And Farley may be in trouble with Torrance as well. But the damage has been done. And we're going to stick with Aiden Hill here, because I fear the worst may be upon him as he approaches turn number one. These Indy cars with the damaged front end does not want to turn. This time it will, though. And for now, he survives as Farley very slow out of turn one. Unsure what happened there. Right now, the main focus, though, I got to give it to Fozzie Pazzillo, the number 61 car, currently holding 8th position at the moment. He stands 12 points up from where he started. And unfortunately, Alex Jones, the champion of IndyCar Season 2, has had a disastrous start here, as we have another crash here at turn one, and that car is just not turning. Can't turn it. He has mentioned he is having equipment issues as well. So perhaps one of them coming back to bite him, but in the meantime, not much that he can do. So Torrance looking to fight for P9. Oh, that was interesting. Torrance may have actually had a chance there, as Aiden Hill is off to pit lane. I believe he was trying to let Torrance go, but Torrance followed him on that outside, and it threw Torrance with an incident. There may have been contact there, but regardless, it results in Torrance taking the position. Looking at about lap 12 here with Rodney Roberts. We've had a lot of incidents hit the board, a lot of single car crashes, but so far no caution flags have come out. Where do you think has been sort of the difference maker between all of these crashes and avoiding all of the cautions?
In our division or league, we try to keep cautions to 2 cars colliding and pretty much completely destroying their cars. Some nose contact, some tail contact that knocks off a wing or so. We try not to throw it just in the competition aspect. Keep the race moving. Nobody wants to run under caution 5-10 laps. So, we try to keep it fair, and anything that's real egregious, we will throw a caution. Ovals are a little bit different. Ovals will run the iRacing caution system, so there'll be a few more on the ovals. But road courses, we try to keep it. Try to keep the contest moving.
Very understandable, and especially with ovals, oftentimes if there's contact, there's about to be a 5 to 10 car crash. So very understandable for the different system there. What do you think has been the main catalyst for all of these incidents hopping in? I've seen turn one, some cars have just straight refused to turn, but what are you seeing out on the track as well as your own incidents?
Mine were just trying to push too hard and hit the brake, lock up, and slide. I assume that's probably what's going on with most of these guys, is they're pushing. They try to push a little harder in the turn, get a little extra time, and locking up and sliding. This is a real tricky and bumpy course.
It's quite the challenge for the first week of the IndyCar series. I commend all these drivers for giving it a try, and best of luck to you for the rest of the race and the rest of the season going forward. Hopefully the tension eases up a little bit as we go through the track list.
Yeah, it should. I mean, like I said, this is the hardest track on the schedule. We wanted to see what we got out of our drivers' first race out of the box, get the hard one out of the way, and look forward to a good season here in the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series.
I look forward as well. Best of luck, Rodney.
Thank you.
And so that brings us to about the halfway mark of the race. Griffiths, again, with a commanding lead of the race, has not let go of it ever since starting on pole position, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon. 14, now 15-second gap to Jacob Schneider, who is into pit lane alongside Mark Humini. So it'll be Parker Dime who takes the second place position. Now 17 and a half seconds behind Griffiths, and unfortunately it looks like we have a crash on the board, and it's that wall, but not quite the spot you expect to see. Oftentimes when drivers have trouble on this turn, it's that they don't turn in hard enough and end up hitting the end of the wall. This time looks like another lockup and a crash head first into that wall. So Schneider heading out of the box for his repairs. There's only 9 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. As at the moment, Rodney Roberts has been stuck in pit lane for a while. That is unfortunately what happened when you have to do 2 repairs in one race. You get stuck with these long wait times. He currently stands at 8 laps behind the leader. And it may just grow further, as Farley's going to head into pit lane as well, which will give Adam Miller P10 for the moment. And it looks like it is Griffith's turn to head to pit lane, so Parker Dime is going to get a chance here, potentially to grab a bonus point. If he can stay in the lead for the rest of the lap, then he will have himself a point. Javier Lopez, 5 seconds back of him. He's going to have some traffic to deal with, Will Dime. Needs to navigate it carefully. As a look to see exactly who that is. Ooh, that really hitched a horse, so apologies for that one. Hopefully things will stay smooth from here on out. There's Mark Humini back on the track as well. Half a second back of Schneider. And the one, oh, we got a car exiting pit lane as he will come to a near stop, and that registered as a crash. We know that one will not be. As he keeps himself out of the wall. And Lopez seems to be catching up quite a bit. Maybe a bit of trouble here for Dime, as he'll be under threat, but will hold on to the lead and will collect his bonus point. Should he stay on the track? He will not. So it's Lopez instead, who looks keen on grabbing that point. Crosses the line first, and I believe that point is now his. Looks like sounded like we just had a crash. Right here at turn 1. And that sounded like this one. Morgan Smith currently holding P11. That's a lockup. The car will not turn. That's fair. So Lopez stays out on the track. Wants to keep on rolling. Mark Humini holding on to 4th position, as mentioned earlier, about 8/10 back of Schneider in front. As Torres has gotten by, and Dime seems like he's had some trouble here. Ended up with an incident on the board, and it allows for Torrance to get by. So let's have a look. Exit of pit lane. That is a battle for position, but there's nowhere he could really go. Here's Marlo Duncan now in 6th, and the gaps have really started to form. There's a crash again. That is Dime sideways on a narrow straight. Luckily for him, nobody nearby for that to cause problems. We'll get an onboard view of exactly what happened there. It unsettled it on the curb. Too much bounce, and he did nearly have another collision. And Griffiths has had a crash. What's happened here? Turn 1 claims yet another. And luckily for him, it's just a lockup. And he'll have time to save it. but now 17 seconds back of Lopez. Fastest lap on the board belongs to Griffiths, a 107.648, but at the cost of turn one being completely ruined. Lopez still out on the first set and will stay on the track for now. As we get a look at a bunch of buildings at Long Beach to see this one does not work. Okay. Understandable. Okay, we're going to move on from that one as if I didn't just do that. Alex Jones now heads to pit lane. Mark Humini, qualified fourth, holds on to fourth for now, a second behind Schneider. That would explain it. We've got reports that this track is 117 degrees. I'm going to give you a hint. That's hot. That is insanely hot for track temperature. As Farley is reported to have been having trouble here. I see exactly what happened. Okay, I see exactly what's going on here. Yet again, the crash is reporting because he stopped and got out of the way of a driver going into turn one. And the same has happened to Alex Jones. So we are going to move on from that at the moment. Lopez in the lead. With that lead about to dwindle away as it's George Griffiths who will take it back with Lopez heading to pit lane. The pit stops seem to be around 41 seconds, and so that should give Griffiths plenty of time to make a gap. And here on lap 19, we're very close to the end, and Griffiths has had no trouble whatsoever. Well, there have been some troubles, but for the most part has been very steady on this track. And the only incidents he did have, that turn one lockup, he got lucky. It was only a lockup, and he didn't crunch into the wall. We had a couple of drivers here who didn't qualify. One of them here, I believe. No, I believe James Sallow did qualify. He qualified 11th. Up in the top 10 at the moment. As you look towards some of the other drivers on the board, Rodney Roberts still in pit lane. Man, that is what happens sometimes, though. If the damage is too much, you can't drive it. It may also be that he decided to back out and go into more of an admin role, as Nerton has a minor lockup but avoids a collision, and now we'll have a car close behind him. As he is lap traffic, gets out of the way. And that was Griffiths. He was getting in the way of. Oh, that was crunchy! That did not sound good. What happened? That's not this. I heard crunch. Now, perhaps it was an exaggeration. Mark Humini at the moment up to third position for the race. We're in the final 5 laps of the race. Holding on to third, trying to catch up to Schneider. Haven't seen many moves this race, but all the gaps have been forming and all these battles happening simultaneously. It's hard to keep up with it all. And the battle for second here seems to be firmly in control of Schneider. And over in fourth position, Torrance will be under pressure as it's Javier Lopez who wants that fourth position, nearly ends up in the back end of Torrance. And Lopez goes into pit lane again for a black flag. So Parker Dime gets sixth position. Torrance will have a bit of breathing room in fourth as a black flag takes out Lopez's hopes. of possibly even a top 10 finish. As it dwindles further and further, Austin Dilts maybe primed to get that 10th position as another crash on the board. This track is challenging. And Alex Jones has reported a crash as well, and he is backwards. Not what you want to see. This will go to Mark Camini. This battle has been going on for about the whole race. So, just about. 8 cars on the lead lap. That's what happens with George Griffiths on the track. He has been just a rocket ship here in IndyCar. To see what happened here. And it was a speeding on pit exit black flag. Or actually, no, I believe it was excuse me. Javier Lopez got a black flag for his pit exit. Unsafe pit exit, it seems to be. Perhaps crossed the yellow line before he had crossed the blue. And that's going to get you black flagged every time. So a big thank you to our helpers for today. And that will see Griffiths with such a lead. 10 seconds to work with. Nearly had trouble there, and that could have completely changed how this race goes. He scraped the outside. I don't think so. I think Griffiths is looking clear. Lap 23. Long Beach here for the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series. Another incident on the board. We'll have a look to see what happened here with Aiden Hill. He seems to be having a bit of trouble here. Very slow around these turns. He's locking up. I can see it. The brakes are glowing. Thought that was going to be over in the other chat. Regardless, we got good information. For today, here's Salo, as mentioned earlier, in the 8th position. Just past turn 1, as making his way to turn 1 will be George Griffiths. 2 laps to go. Griffiths with not a worry in the world. A 9-second gap behind him and a 30-second gap between him and 4th place. It looks safe to say that Griffiths, in this first test of these drivers' IndyCar strength, Griffiths seems to be passing with flying colors. Has a little bit of lap traffic to deal with. And we'll keep an eye on him as we go through the track. We'll approach the Firestone Bridge. Alex Jones in front. And around the hairpin we go. And so it begins. Griffiths begins his final lap. The white flag is out. It is white flag racing at Long Beach for the PRA IndyCar Series. Heading into turn 1, right on the edge of that yellow line. He'll dive into the left side and avoid that wall nicely. Now over to the fountain. It's a long right-hander that hooks left immediately. Still a narrow road as you go to this right-hander on a 90-degree turn. It swivels to the outside as you go through yet another turn. Is that a track cut? Looks like not. No black and white flag for a track cut as he'll get to keep on going as Parker Dime seems to be having some trouble over in 6th position. In a head-to-head now with Duncan. Looking for that 5th place spot. Needs to be careful here. Nearly in the back end of Duncan. Goes to the outside. Doesn't have the move yet. Still there, though. May have bumped. And there's been a spin. Over by the fountain. Duncan ends up backwards. Spun out by Dime. And right behind them to finish the race, a very climactic ending for some other drivers, but for Griffiths, no big drama. George Griffiths is your winner for the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series race at Long Beach. And he'll make his way around the track. Jacob Schneider will collect second place. Marco Mini in at third. And Griffiths will bring his journey to a close as Spencer Torrance here in fourth position will make his way down the straightaway. We're going to wait to hear for any potential ruling on the incident with Parker Dime. And we'll also get a cockpit view of it. We'll look to get a good angle of exactly what happened. That's Brad Morath. Here we go. Possibly a bump there as well on Marlo Duncan. He looks at the outside, brakes a little bit late, looks in, and looks like he didn't have the room and tried to get by. So let's get a better look. Let's go far chase here, and let's go to the perspective of Marlo Duncan here. So a little bit of a bump in the back end here. He's on the inside, and he's stuck on the inside. And it looks like he washes out, but Parker Dime barely there. We'll get another look at it. Same angle. We want to get another chance to look at it, and we're going to slow this footage down as well. Down to a quarter speed here. As going into this left-hander, you've got Duncan waiting on the inside by the apex. Dime has maybe gotten his wing alongside. And as he tries to keep on going, ends up crashing into the rear right of Duncan, and Duncan just has nowhere to go. He can't go anywhere. So Dime will bring it around the track. And I believe that was Torrance in front who hit the wall. And into pit lane they'll go to bring this race to a close. What a race it's been. We have Jacob Schneider awaiting here for later, which is good to see. He's our second place driver for today.
Yeah.
Apologies there. Looks like they were busy with something. Have a look to see. Okay, we're going to move channels here. Perfect. So Griffiths is ready. We're going to drag in Schneider. In a moment, I want to see if we get Marco Mini in here as well. That'd be really good to see. Let me call for him here. So in the meantime, while we wait for that, a big congratulations to George Griffiths as he picks up his first victory in the IndyCar Series. Looking through the rest of our list of drivers. It's Griffiths, Schneider, Marcumini as your podium finishers. You then have Spencer Torrance, Parker Dime, Marlo Duncan, James Sallow, Adam Miller, Aiden Hill, and Javier Lopez as your top 10 finishers. Dilts, Nerton, Morath, Jones, Farley, Smith, Fazillo, Roberts, Hamilton, and Bailey round out the rest of our drivers. And joining us now is our second place driver, Jacob Schneider. Congratulations on the second place finish, Jacob. Can you give us an idea of what it was like out there at Long Beach? Because we saw a lot of guys were having trouble throughout the course of today's event.
Yeah, you got to stay focused the entire time. I mean, there's kind of a front straightaway, but you're still turning. So, I mean, it's a real mental game out there at Long Beach.
Very understandably so. You did seem to hold up pretty well. You even had a lot of pressure on you pretty much the whole race. Marcumini could not leave your back end. How do you stay calm in that kind of environment and avoid either a big accident or giving up a potential move for him?
Well, I kind of trusted him. You know, I've never raced with him before, but, you know, he seemed like he knew what he was doing. There's nowhere to pass at Long Beach, so I knew as long as I got a good exit on the last corner and used DRS down the straightaway, I was pretty confident I could hold him off just as long as I didn't make a mistake. So I didn't drive 100%. I was driving just hard enough to stay ahead of him.
Yeah, right now on stream, we're going through a lot of the crashes that have gone through. So many mistakes that have happened, a lot of lockups, as we're seeing on screen now. There's been a lot of spin outs. What was your key, do you think? Was it that you weren't going at 100%? Was that your key to avoiding the lockups, avoiding the spin outs and such?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that much experience with IndyCar. If I would have been going 100% pace, I might have been able to keep up with George, but I would have probably wrecked. I wouldn't have done 25 laps at that pace. So I got kind of content with saying it and drove at a pace that would just finish saying it, take a good points day.
To be fair, second place is a very, very good finish. 40 points for you for today. Congratulations to you, and if you want to stick around, you're very welcome. As we'll bring on in the winner of our race, George Griffiths. George, pleasure to meet you, and congratulations on your victory here at Long Beach. How's it feel at the top?
Feels good, man. First race with the PRA. Didn't know how it was going to go, to be honest, but managed to get pole and lead all the way to the end.
It was a very impressive performance from you. We saw a lot of drivers struggling throughout the course of the race. A lot of spin-outs and lockups, but for you, you had maybe one of those lockups, and it was a very minor one at turn one. What do you think was your strategy to avoiding all of those ones? Was it a lot of practice with the car?
To be honest, it was a mix of practice and just trying to focus as hard as possible. Had a couple minor mistakes locking up into turn one, just having to take avoiding action. But it got really hot in my room, so started to sweat a bit, and that might have had something to do with lapse of concentration. But just trying to concentrate as hard as possible to avoid those mistakes.
I think it's safe to say the concentration paid off. I apologize for the amount of sweat you had to exude as a result of the hot room in a big race, but a 10-second gap surely seems very comfortable. Even with the pit stop, were you at all worried that potentially your race could be in danger, or were you comfortable the whole way?
I was fairly confident the entire way. I didn't really know how the pit stops would work out. I did make sure halfway through the race that it was okay to go onto the same tire compound again. So once I knew that, then I was sure that I would be okay.
Understandable. And we have someone in the chat who wants to ask for you, George. I've been told that you potentially have an upcoming trip to Mexico. So what can you say on that, and how might it impact your standing with the IndyCar Racing Series this season?
So going to Mexico to represent Canada at the NACAM Games this year. It's a North and Central American Racing Championship with 3 disciplines. There's go-karting, slalom, Ford Legends, and an esports discipline. And I'm going to represent Canada for the esports discipline. So it's in the F4 car, so a different car, but I'm looking to perform there and perform back on the PRA.
At least you do get a little bit, kind of a bit of formula practice here today, especially on a brutal track like Long Beach. Well, big congratulations to you. Best of luck on your competition in Mexico. I hope that you do Canada very proud. Despite being from the United States, I will still cheer you on.
Thank you very much.
But of course, and you gentlemen have a wonderful rest of your night. Can't wait to see you later on in the series. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. Get these guys out of here. And with that, that brings Long Beach to an end. This has been the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series at Long Beach. Quite the exciting event, to say the least. But, folks, this is only race number 1. Up next will be Kansas, as it'll be our first taste of oval racing on September 9th. Make sure to keep an eye on that 8:30 p.m. time slot. If you want to know more about these events, go to discord.gg/PRA. Join the Discord server. Hop on in, have a chat with a bunch of us here putting this all together. And as well, I hope that you'll join us for yet another week and another season of the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series. This has been Season 3. I'm Thomas Cuthbert, and I'll see you next week.